Hello everyone, I am Professor Pokarkar Sagar from ANTC Department of ASSMS Institute of Information Technology. So today I will give the introduction or basics of transmission lines. So usually uh, in our day-to-day life we see how the transmission is happen by using the different types of transmission line. So there is a transmitter and there is a receiving antenna, and in between that there is a wire or conducting media, or you can say it is a waveguide. From that the transmission takes place of electrical signal or any other power can be transmitted through this media is called as a transmission line. Simple. So there are mainly two types of transmission line, which is unbalanced and balanced. In unbalanced, we can say a coaxial cable. Then in parallel or balanced wire, we see the parallel wires having the two conductors separated by a dielectric media. So in other words, you can say a waveguide is nothing but, we can say, a transmission line, then fiber optics, then waveguides. These are the different types of waveguides. So in that there is one point, that is transmission line. So one is balanced and second one is unbalanced. So we are concentrating on the coaxial cable. If you take a cross section of coaxial cable, then there is a inner conductor, then there is a insulator of a Teflon material, then there is a outer conductor shield, we can say, and above that there is a plastic cover. So this is the coaxial cable structure. These are coverings which are, if you see, is used to minimize the interference or to reduce the losses. So for the coaxial cable, the frequencies range from 100 kilohertz to 500 megahertz. The coaxial cables can be used for telephone cables, then cable TV, then you can use for LAN for computers. So in our day-to-day life, when you connect the dish antenna to our TV receiver, the wire used in between that two is coaxial cable. So usually we see that. Now next point is now the transmission line. The transmission line comes under the distributed network type because we cannot physically separate the components R, L, C and G, whatever. We cannot physically separate. They are distributed throughout the line, and that's why the transmission line comes under the distributed network. So if I take a finite length of this and if I draw the equivalent circuit diagram, then there is R and L comes in series and G and C, that is conductance and capacitance, are in shunt, and for each section there are n number of such sections in a transmission line. So this is the equivalent circuit diagram of transmission line. Then we can draw the RF, that is at radio frequency where R is very less as compared to L, and your G is very less as compared to C at radio frequency. So at radio frequency these two components can be neglected or ignored. Then we draw the diagram or equivalent electrical circuit at RF. Then we can neglect R and C. Then this is the diagram which you observe. It's called as a RF equivalent circuit. Now further we go for primary constant of transmission line. So there are four primary constant: resistance, conductance, then inductance and capacitance are called as a primary constant. So when these constants are uniformly distributed along the line, it is called as a uniform transmission line. So that four primary constant, and they are measured ohm per unit length. So basic units, and then there is unit length, because these are uniformly distributed over length. So per unit length is the unit we can add. So for inductor Henry, for capacitor Farad, for conductance Siemens per unit or mho. Then we go for next, what is the effect of this primary constant on transmission line? So the primary constant takes into account in both forward and return lines. They are constant in that they do not vary with the voltage or current. However, they are frequency independent to some extent. The series resistance R increases frequency as a result of skin effect. Now next is secondary constants of a transmission line. So there are four secondary constants. In some notes there may be only two is given, but the propagation constant and characteristic impedance. So propagation constant is equal to alpha plus j beta, where alpha is attenuation constant and beta is phase constant. So basically we can say there are two secondary constant, characteristic impedance Z0 and propagation constant. So these two are very important because we require the maximum power transfer, and for that the matching is important, and that's why the characteristic important impedance is plays a vital role. So this is the some introduction basic things regarding the transmission line I will explain. So thank you.